Welcome back, everybody, to the Power of the Processor podcast. My name is Gina Wariebi, owner and operator of Innovative Edge Processing and the Mortgage Processing Revolution. Today, I'm speaking with Megan Thayer, owner and operator of MT Mortgage Processing. Hello, Megan. How are you doing today?
Hi, great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me. So I'm going to start out with our standard first question. How did you get into mortgage processing?
So I actually began my career in education. And after 11 years of education in high school athletics, coaching, and teaching, I actually taught elementary PE. I was looking for a career change and was wide open, looking at several different industries when I saw an advertisement for underwriter at United Wholesale Mortgage. I had a lot of friends that worked there in sales. Never thought sales would be a good fit for me, but when I saw the underwriting ad, I thought this could be something I would like. So I did it
Interesting.
and was an underwriter for almost 2 years before I jumped over to some in-house positions at broker shops. And ultimately, at the end of 2022, I decided it was time to go out on my own and be a contract processor.
Congratulations.
Thank
Welcome to
you.
the dark side. How do you feel that underwriting benefits you as a processor, or do you think it does?
It gave me the training I received at UWM gave me the best background I could possibly ask for in the mortgage industry, just learning about mortgages.
Yep.
And I think I have a leg up when it comes to conditions and collecting documentation and how to read the documentation, calculating income. Quickly learned in the processing role that underwriting is not all of it. Managing tasks with all the third parties and LOs and lenders, fees, disclosing, closings, all of that was new to me. So even though I had that solid foundation of the concepts, there was a lot to learn.
Okay, beautiful. Well, let's jump into our topic of the day today, which is processing investigation. Now, we have talked a couple times now about social media. Mm-hmm. Why do you think social media is good as a tool for processors?
So this is probably a little bit of a different twist. My belief is that social media can be used for research. I use it for research. Yes, it's important to post and engage, but there's so much you can find out from reading other people's posts. You may see once in a while where someone asks a question and people jump all over that person saying that's already in this group 10 times.
Yes.
That's what I love, though. I love that I can search those 10 times about an issue I'm having or a topic I'm investigating and find inspiration. I call it inspiration because I don't take answers on social media as fact.
Correct.
You might have a question asked and 10 different answers, but I can see who's dealt with this issue. What lender were they with? What kind of solutions did they come up with? And take it from there in my research. And I don't think a lot of people fully utilize that.
Correct. True.
Yeah. I was able to change lender policy. We had an FHA flip situation.
Explain that a little bit. Change policy. What do you mean by change policy?
So we found at the end of a transaction that we had an FHA flip on our hands. The lender wanted new appraisal, new loan, everything started over. And I decided to dig in. So I found an example of this that someone had where another lender allowed them to close it with just a new purchase agreement dated 6 months after.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So that is technically how the FHA guidelines read. I was able to contact the lender that allowed it, get their guidebook, get it in writing, and send it to the lender I was working with, who reviewed it, sent it to management, and changed their policy on FHA flips.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And they should get on board with it and allow a new purchase contract instead of starting the loan over.
Again, power of the processor. Yes. You just proved it right there for me.
I did. I changed policy. Was able to close a loan with just a new purchase agreement and updating the FHA case number. We did not have to start over. So those are the kind of things we have the power to do.
Absolutely.
But you have to dig in and you have to be willing to push back and stand up for what you know is right.
And I think that is a huge problem for processors because we have that fine line between working with the LO and the broker and working with the lender. So it's like a give and take. Like, how much do you push with a lender without upsetting the borrower and the loan officer? sometimes it's easier just to get the items that the underwriter is asking for because it's fast and quick instead of pushing back and saying, this is wrong, you don't need this, or this is intrusive, you shouldn't be asking for this, which
Yes, you
does
definitely have to
happen.
pick your battles. Definitely have to
Absolutely.
pick your battles. But this was a situation where it would have upset the borrower to restart the entire process and get a second appraisal. So,
Absolutely. And cost money, time,
right.
money. Absolutely. And the
But
thing I think that drives me the most nuts about social media is exactly what you said. People
yeah,
don't take the time to go in and search before they post.
no,
And then the other thing is when you do post, you get 15 different answers that are all the same thing. So if I'm scrolling and I'm looking for an answer and I see it, why are there 15 other comments on there that say the same exact thing? If you see somebody answered it,
right.
why do you need to continually keep posting on there? But I also really love the idea that one post can lead to 15 different answers. So you
Yeah,
have to do your due diligence and go in
yeah.
and say what's right and what's wrong, what you like, what you don't like, what's correct, and investigate that, like you said.
Yeah, I would never be the person to take someone's answer as gold. Like,
Yeah.
yes, no, you can't do that. You can do that. That's confusing.
Yes.
But social media allowed me to make this change because I really analyzed what was going on.
Yeah.
Not because I just posted asking for a student loan calculation and took someone's answer. So there's more to social media than just asking questions.
And the
And
thing too is about their situation could be the similar to yours but has different background, like,
right,
you know what I mean? So yes, that's what worked for them, but you have to convert it into what's going on for your loan situation. So taking it as gold, going to a lender and saying but so and so said that they did this, could actually be more harmful than good.
yeah, like I said, it's inspiration. And you have to think of it like that. What am I going to do with this information? Um, just building in your brain like a plan. Like this person was able to do it, so I just need to look at it in a different way, or contact this lender, or maybe reach out to that person for more information. But there are a lot of very important things you can get from using the social media groups industry.
Absolutely. And what type of groups are you in besides processing groups? Like the one I moderate is for processors only, full-time
Mhm.
wholesale processors only. No AEs, no real estate agents, nobody, because I want to make it a safe space for processors to be able to go there and ask a question and know they're getting a reasonably correct answer. If you
Yes.
ask a loan officer, it might be totally different and incorrect. So there are other processing Facebook pages out there. What other ones do you look at?
There is another processing one. I forget what it's called. It's, I think Mortgage Processors United or something like that.
Yep.
Brokers Are Better is just a huge group with a lot of people in it. Just a wealth of information and knowledge in there. There is
Especially
a
for loan scenarios on there. They do a lot of
yes,
loan
a lot of
scenarios
loan
and stuff.
scenarios. I kind of
Yep,
sift through those a lot. Those are overwhelming to me as a processor.
absolutely.
I am in an underwriting group. Just a variety of things that I've come across and even just a regular mortgage loan originator group with retail people.
Absolutely.
Just learn from different people by paying attention to what's going on. And that's what a lot of people get too distracted by social media. I just
Yes.
really feel a need to know what's going on in our industry, and I can sort and sift through it and not get too caught up in it.
But that's the thing, is not getting too caught up in it, because you could sit there all day and just keep scrolling and answering questions and asking questions. And
I'm
when
just
you,
obsessed with learning from it. My friend and I at UWM were notorious for taking notes and loving the weekly underwriting meetings because if I could learn one
yeah,
thing that would help me in the loans, it was really, really important to me. But a lot of people didn't care, they didn't listen. But I
well,
just love
this
learning.
industry changes on a
Yeah,
daily, monthly, weekly basis. God forbid a year goes by, you're not
yeah,
in the industry for a year and then you come back, it's like a whole new ball game. You got to get yourself reacclimated to
gotta
everything
keep
all
up.
over again.
Gotta keep up.
Absolutely. Well, how do you keep up? How do you continually learning and then get inspiration?
Again, following social media groups, leading us into our next topic, the selling guides, the handbooks, the lender
Yep.
policies. I think the most important quality you can have as a processor is being resourceful, being self-sufficient and resourceful. I cannot recommend anything more. It's not about knowledge, memorization. It's about being able to find information and analyze information.
Okay.
I've tried to work with people before that just want every step handed to them all day long. What do I do next? How do I do that? And unfortunately, you will not succeed if you are not able to find out on your own. Nobody taught me how to process. I
Yep.
learned through research. I learned through talking to
Trial
people.
by fire.
Yeah, I learned by using the resources. Like the selling guides are very hard to read. I understand that, but you need to be aware of how to find them, what section what you're dealing with is in. Every
Mhm.
investor has one, and I use Google for them. I don't save them to PDFs. I use
Yep.
Google because they always change.
Correct.
I
Yes.
Google FHA HUD handbook. I Google VA home loan handbook income. I Google USDA home loan handbook, constantly Googling handbooks and learning what keywords you can use to find what you're looking for.
Yep.
Once you have found what you need and read through it, you might still have a question or be confused, and that's okay. But there's no need to be asking people about student loan calculations when you can easily find it. Lenders like Rocket and UWM have the source and Pathfinder. You can find things that you need on their sites also, and they might
Anything
analyze
from
them.
forms to trainings to calculations
Yeah,
to there's so
it's
much
there.
available out there. You have to dig in.
And I've noticed even when you're talking to AEs, it's they, or LOs, call the AE and ask them this. You don't have to. They have a guide on their portal. Did you know that?
Absolutely.
So there's all
Absolutely.
this, there's a wealth of information on lender portals and in the selling guides that you can use to solve your problems. And you will still have questions sometimes. It is not cut and dry. I still struggle.
Yeah.
But I know how to find things. Usually if I'm on the phone with an AE or an LO, I have found it before they're done talking and they don't know how I've done it. But that's my strength. I don't memorize everything. I don't know all the guidelines. But I always look at it before I answer a question.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think
One
utilizing
thing
the
that I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. One thing that I recently discovered is I do get the Fannie and Freddie guideline update emails and I kind of just glance over it, but it's really good to have a group of good processing friends out there who
yes.
help you stay on top of things. And one of my friends emailed me one day and said, "Oh, did you see that HUD changed the guideline on FHA gifts?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't know that." Gift letters, gift checks, and wires are still the same, but you no longer need the donor's account, just like
Yes.
conventional.
It's very
So
exciting.
it's tremendous. It's huge. That's
Yep.
such a huge pushback from borrowers. I don't want to get so and so involved, and that's their personal information. This is awesome because that's one less thing we have to worry about. But now
Yeah.
you actually have that information. It's right there, HUD guideline, blank, blank, blank. You can push back on the underwriter and say, I'm sorry, we don't need this anymore. Check this guideline. So
Yeah.
I've been doing that, and I have had a couple of the lenders push back on it and say, "No, sorry, we're still requiring it." Okay, they made it as their overlay. But
Yeah.
by staying on top of those things as a processor is important because it helps the borrower get one less documentation. That argument of going back and getting a gift asset is huge. That's a big pushback, and I don't
It
blame
is.
them. I
You
don't
have
blame
to know
them.
changes. And I have found sometimes that like you, I'll see it mentioned somewhere, I'll go pull it off. I'll say, is this real? I want to make sure I'm reading it right. I don't just
Absolutely,
trust the Facebook post. I go pull it up in HUD. But I will
absolutely.
often know things that underwriters don't even know yet. They're not paying attention to the changes. And sometimes I will catch them and I'll say, you don't need that anymore, right?
Absolutely. And
And
they're
I will show
human.
them. Yes,
And
they
they're
are human.
human. We're human. They're human. They miss things. We all know how technology is. You
Right.
can't live with it. You can't throw it out the window. So
Mm-hmm.
if they put something in the computer and there was a glitch and it changes, that's not on them. They put it in there, right? To have a conversation with them. Say, can I ask why you conditioned for this? Oh, it was auto fired. Sorry, it's
Or
removed.
it's important to help each other. Like you have to
Absolutely.
remind them that this rule changed. Here's the guideline. And they might say, oh, that's so great. Now I know
Absolutely.
that because they don't have an automated system built in for every intricate detail of every change.
And who
Um,
knows if they were out sick last week when the guideline
right,
changed, or they
right,
were on vacation, or something happened. Their dog died. We never know what someone's going through on a daily
right.
basis. That be nice, be kind.
Yeah,
I
and that
think
brings
is
me to point number three, talking
yep,
to people. People are willing to help in this industry. You find a good underwriter you trust, you find a processing friend, even a title
Absolutely.
company that isn't on the transaction you're in, but you have a question about how something works. Hey, I need to talk about these tax prorations. I don't understand them. Um, and they're kind of like your friend in the industry. So you feel like you can trust them. Um, Talking it out with someone and calling people maybe not traditional, like, hey, you're the agent on this deal, but calling an agent you trust, or there's someone you saw
Absolutely.
in the Facebook group that you think seems really knowledgeable in that area. I've never really had anyone say, no, I don't want to help you. It's not a competition in
Yes,
this industry. Everyone helps. And you just have to, you can't be afraid to ask for that help. You can't
absolutely.
just assume whoever you're working with on the loan is going to tell you step by step what to do. You have to just go out there and find out. Um,
Picking up the phone and calling somebody can be very difficult for people, but
yes.
I think back to the saying phone a friend. All those TV shows,
Yes.
especially the fact ones, there you can phone a friend, you can get a free advice. I just phone a friend, pick up the phone and say, this is what happened, or this is what's going on. What do you think? What's your perspective on it? Am I looking at it the same way?
Well, and remember how good you feel after some of those conversations. You're like, I've got a plan now. I feel good about this. I
Yeah.
know I need to know the why. And that's probably the biggest thing that I related to at UWM. Ishbia was
Yep.
big on the why when I worked there. And that's
Yep.
so important to me. I need to know the why before I can fully understand something.
And
So
then
I
go
will,
back to the borrower.
yeah,
And
I will behind the scenes go down a rabbit hole, sometimes for too long, because I have to know the why and I have to fully understand something
yep.
before I
But it makes
can.
you a better person and it makes you a
Yeah,
better
I have to know it.
processor.
I have to do it. So it's once you know it too, it'll apply to new situations, different situations on new loans.
Yeah, but
Um,
it also makes you a little bit more of an expert. So that way we can come to you for advice and you
right,
have that knowledge to pass on to somebody else.
correct. So talking to other people in this industry, even though we work alone, like I work at home on my
Yep.
own company, I don't
Yep.
have employees, I don't have coworkers, but I
Same.
talk to my LOs pretty much every single day.
Yep.
I talk to other processors and people I know when I need you know, to connect with someone in this industry. So I don't really feel alone ever.
You might be alone in your room, but you're not
Right.
alone in the business.
No,
You're not alone in
no.
this industry. There are thousands of us out there who are here to help and share everybody.
And I
Like
love
this.
connecting with people in the industry. I really, really enjoy it. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, that leads me to my very last question. Where do you think wholesale processing is going to lead in about 5 years? Where do you see the projection of processing?
well, what I'd like to see is that we continue down this road of good connections between contract processors and loan officers. As we know, wholesale, we're able to offer better rates and pricing. And a lot of small broker shops have very low margins. It's not like the retail space where all your salaried employees are built in to what you're making. So it's so great when a loan officer can make that connection with the contract processor where you feel like you're on the same team. It's not just a
Absolutely.
processor assigned to me, or that I'm stuck with and I can't choose.
Okay.
And it's best for everyone that you can focus on building your business with your and keep your one man, two man shop with low margins and have help. Have someone
Absolutely.
you trust to help you get the loan closed. So I'd like to see that we keep educating about contract processing. We keep getting better,
Hmm.
and make those connections that feel like you are working together. Um, and
Absolutely. What do you
not
think
have as
about
much
AI?
in-house. I think AI is it's a great tool for certain things, but I do still think you need that. I don't think we'll ever fully be replaced by AI. I mean, even a simple income calculation, I can't trust that that's correct. How are you interpreting trends? How are you interpreting outside situations impacting the numbers?
We
So,
all know self-employment is difficult to
yeah.
go through. So how
And
is
with
AI
variable
going to get
income,
the
yeah,
intricacies?
variable income is something even us processors and LOs haven't mastered. No one has mastered. It's all
Some of us
telling
have been in the business 25 years
right.
plus and still don't like it. Don't do
No,
it.
there's still situations that stump me, and I don't think anyone can replace that. But and then that personal touch with the borrowers and everything, like
Yes,
I enjoy that
definitely.
aspect of things, and I think
Definitely.
we're gonna need it no matter what. But I would like to see less in-house in wholesale because I there's nothing against it, but I just don't fully feel like the budgets are being properly,
Calculated.
the funds are being properly utilized. This is a great way to do it. allows you to have lower comp and run your company on a lower margin and still have a great team member to help the borrowers get to closing.
And I think that's actually a really good comment too about having in-house, because a lot of times the brokers are trying to save money and they're going to go with somebody who's less experienced. Therefore, they're paying them, but they're paying for the quality. So by taking on certain, looking into a third-party processing company, there's a lot of us out here who are experts. And when I say experts, who have been in this business 20 plus years, who have been underwriters, AEs, who have been everything and have that knowledge, but find that their niche is processing. So don't underestimate a processor. And I think a lot of people do that.
I did when I first started, and I was in the broker world, and I was learning about contract processing. I didn't know. I thought like, oh, you're not going to have that relationship with someone. You're going to have different people.
Yeah.
It's more like, they're going to drop the ball or something. I just didn't fully understand what it could be and what it is. And I think we need to just keep spreading the word and
absolutely
recommending people to brokers.
Absolutely. I think that's a great ending right there. Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for being on The Power of the Processor. This is Gina Wariebi with Innovative Edge Processing and the Mortgage Processing Revolution. And please take a look down below for my contact information. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please reach out. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube at Innovative Edge Processing and now on Spotify. Thank you so much, guys, and have an amazing day.
Hey, what's your secret? You got the kind of vibe that leaves me speechless. It could be model multitasking genius. Yeah, you got it all. Hey, what's your story?